Hello everyone, today I'm going to be telling you about the top 5 books I read in 2017. I usually do a top 10, but I've really not read as much as I usually would this year, so I thought a top 5 would be perfect for this one. So the first book I have to show you is A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness, and this is about a little boy who is having nightmares about a certain something. I don't really want to spoil anything because it's a one that you can't talk about as much without spoiling, so I'm going to be really careful. But one night a monster turns up at his window and he's not actually scared of this monster, he's more scared of the nightmares he's having. I don't really want to say much more about the synopsis because like I said, you can spoil this one quite easily, but if you've not read this book, I highly recommend it, and also the film as well. They made a film of this and it is brilliant as well, so definitely recommend that if you've not seen it. It's such an emotional and impactful read, and honestly it just gets you gripped straight away. Connor, the little boy, he's just so lovely, and his development throughout the story is amazing as well. I felt really emotionally attached to Connor. I love the messages this story brought across, and it's just such an impactful, intense and gripping read. I just couldn't put it down. I absolutely flew through this book. It's not a very big book, so you can fly through it, and the font is really easy as well, so definitely if you want a quick read, pick this up because it's fantastic. The only thing I would say is I probably wouldn't recommend this to younger readers because there are some really hard-hitting topics in it, so it might affect the younger readers in that sense, so just be careful on that. But honestly, if you've not read it and you're fine with that kind of thing, definitely pick it up. The next book I have is Happy Mum, Happy Baby by Giovanna Fletcher, and this is about Giovanna's journey through pregnancy and labour and bringing up her 2 little boys, Buzz and Buddy. And it is amazing, this story. She doesn't sugarcoat anything. It is very raw, very real. She just tells it how it is, and it's brilliant that way, because I think some books you get talking about pregnancy and things, they do try to sugarcoat a little bit. Giovanna doesn't. If you want a real book about pregnancy, this one. You gotta read this one because it is absolutely real. I really like how she covered the point in her pregnancy where she was getting negative comments online about her pregnancy body. She coped with that in such a good way, in such a positive way, and I think that's really lovely to read about, because a lot of the time, if you get negative comments online or something like that, it can hurt you, but you've just got to get past them. And the fact people were making negative comments about somebody who was pregnant and about their body, it's ridiculous. She's gone through pregnancy, and you're expecting her body to be like perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect body, so I think she's amazing and I definitely recommend this. Please read this, it's brilliant. Oh, and one thing before I finish with this one, it is absolutely hilarious in some chapters when just talking about the children and how their emotions can just be a bit all over the place and the way she coped with that, but she also says that every child is different. Not one technique is going to work for every child, but she found her techniques that worked for her children, and it's just funny. It's really funny to read about because you can just see the struggles, and although they are struggles, they are really funny to look back on. She even says that it's really funny to look back on. It was crazy at the time, but absolutely hysterical. So yeah, it's a bit of a rocky roller coaster like you'd expect this kind of book to be. Very raw, like I said, very real, and definitely give it a read if you haven't already. The next book I have is The Haiti Gift by Angie Thomas, and I have got a copy of this. If you've seen my last video, you'll know that I haven't got my book at the minute because it's at my sister's room and she's still asleep. This is actually the next day from filming the other video, but she never gets out of bed very early, so she's still in bed and it's in her room. But yeah, The Hate You Give, and this was probably my favourite book of the year. I absolutely adored this book. This is based on the Black Lives Matter movement in the United States, and it's about a girl called Star who witnesses her friend being shot by a white policeman. So Star sets out to fight for justice, and obviously this is very difficult because both her and her friend are black and they are fighting against white policemen and all this sort, and it's a bit ridiculous that this thing actually happens, but it does, and I can't get my head around it, but the way it was written, it was incredible. Angie Thomas, for a debut author, has done amazing, and I cannot wait to read her other work she brings out. It covers things like police brutality, racism, gang culture, fighting for race and gender equality, and obviously justice, and it's just intense and gripping and it makes you feel every emotion under the sun. You feel angry, you feel sad, you feel emotional all the time. It's just a bit of a roller coaster ride, this book, but absolutely give it a read. Please, 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 at some point in your life, give this book a read. If you read none of the other ones I show you today and just read this one, that is also fine. The way she portrays the messages throughout a dialogue and throughout the descriptive writing is just so incredible. This could be written in a very offensive and dodgy way, and she didn't do that at all. It was incredibly written, and I just look up to her for that, I really do. It's an incredibly important read, so if you've not read it, please give it a read. I highly recommend it. The next book I have to show you is also a very hard-hitting read, and that is In Order to Live by Yeonmi Park, and this is Yeonmi's struggle on escaping North Korea. This is a true story, and it is horrendous. I don't mean the story is horrendous, the story is absolutely incredible and eye-opening, but what she went through is just, you can't even imagine it unless you've been through it at all. It's just, yeah. This is the one that really, really stumps me talking about because I find it very difficult to talk about because it's very emotional. They had to ration on food in North Korea because they didn't have any money, so they were all starving. So Yeonmi's mum knew that she had to get them out of there. And during their escape, they ended up being separated and things, like Yeonmi and her mum was separated from her sister, and they didn't see each other for years and years and years, and I'm pretty sure it was only when Yeonmi escaped to America that she actually met up with her sister again, so that was a long, long time being apart. They were also victims of human trafficking, and Yeonmi's mum literally put herself forward to be raped, so Yeonmi wasn't raped, and it's just so emotional. I can't talk about this book without just blabbering on. It's just, yeah, really hard hitting, but I'd absolutely recommend it if that's something you want to find out about, and also if you want to find out a little bit more about North Korea and how it's run as well, because it is very interesting and so wrong, and it needs to change. It really, really needs to change. It's not right at all. I do think everyone at some point in their lives needs to read this. Obviously, if you're a younger reader, I do not recommend it at all. If you're a younger reader, wait until you're a bit older, but definitely read it at some point in your life. It is fantastic. And the final book I have to show you today is The Creakers by Tom Fletcher. This is such a cute story, and it's a children's story, so it's completely different to the other ones I've showed you today, but I thought this was quite a nice one to put into this list as a bit of a contrast. This is about creakers who live under your bed, which is like monsters who live under your bed, and one day Lucy wakes up and her mum has disappeared. And she has no idea where she's gone, but she goes outside and finds out all of the other children's parents have disappeared too. So they go out to try and find out what's going on. They have no idea what's going on, but then they find out about the creakers and they think that has something to link to their parents' disappearance. This is such a cute, imaginative story, and the illustrations throughout really help bring the story to life. They are just so fantastic. I definitely recommend checking out Shane Devery's work. I'm obsessed with him at the minute. I am talking about him quite a lot. But there's some illustrations down there. And what else have we got? We got some there as well. Fantastic illustrations all the way throughout. They really do help. Each of the characters have their own little personalities as well, which makes it very easy to follow who's who, and we get to know about them really quickly. They're very, very likeable characters. Even if they're not very nice, they're still really likeable. And the character development was really, really great as well. The creakers are fantastic. They're meant to be like scary, but they're not really scary. They're more like silly, stupid. They're like idiots, really. They're a bit dopey, but it makes them really funny, and that just has a whole new element to the story. It's very, very good and very funny. And I think that helps with the wide age variety this story could actually entertain, because although it's for younger readers, older readers can definitely get a lot out of this story as well. So yeah, if you've not read this, I highly recommend it. Even if you're an older reader, it is perfect. But also, if you have children, definitely read this to your children as well, because it is so funny. So that's it for my top 5 books of 2017. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know what your top 5 books were, as I'd love to know, so you can leave them in the comments below if you'd like to. If you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. All of my social media links are in the description below for you to go check out if you'd like to, and I will see you all in my next video very soon. Bye!